The Wyoming Cowgirls playing host to the Lady Raiders of Texas Tech for a chance to move on and of the WBIT. Angie Light, Nada Costa, Dion Lewis, your officials here tonight in Laradice. Opening possession of the basketball game for Wyoming. Ola Ustowska, the point guard out of Poland. Up top, Emily Mellema, her first touch. Peterson feeds it to the Mountain West Player of the Year, Fertig, down in the post. She immediately draws the crowd, kicks it out to a wide-open Tess Barnes, who catches. And Texas Tech led by a pair of honorable mention all Big 12 guards, Jasmine Shavers, who mistimed the connection there with their post. Sarah Maupin were honored by the Big 12 this season, Brian.
Yeah, two different possessions for both teams. You see one execute perfection offensively, the other early turnover. Definitely something they want to clean up.
And you see the full court pressure out of Texas Tech. This Lady Raider team and Krista Gerlich, they want tempo. They want to speed up Wyoming with their pressure. The Cowgirls play a very deliberate form of the game, running their motion offense as Melina Peterson off the mark on the triple. Lob up top, caught and laid in, and the first bucket of the game for the Lady Raiders scored by Kyla Freelon, the junior from just down the road in Denver, Colorado. Peterson attacks on the dribble, whips it along the baseline to Barnes. Mellema, an open three, and two early triples.
They get that consistent defensive disruption yet, but they definitely want to get where they can force turnovers against this high-powered Wyoming offense.
Early 6-2 lead, and a whistle and a foul. First whistle of the game on the Wyoming Cowgirls.
Yeah, one thing that's always great with a Wyoming team with the the player of the year inside now, officially in Fertig, is when they can make threes, it opens up the floor for her. They want a double team. They've already shown that. So having 2 threes already go down is a great sign for Wyoming's offensive attack.
Foul was on Barnes. That's Tess Barnes, the senior from Australia, her first personal. A large senior class for Wyoming playing their final game at the AA. Freelon attacks, kicks it back outside to Fritz. Maupin late in the shot clock, rims off, and the rebound is tapped and controlled by Ustowska.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're playing in March, the team that can get settled in early usually has the bigger advantage. And there you see, great touch inside the Fertig, not able to finish. Definitely has a crowd around her.
Fertig staying with it and finally draws a whistle as a bewildered head shake from Allison Fertig. When she catches that deep, she doesn't miss many of these, Brian.
And she felt like she got fouled, but she stayed with it. That's part of what makes her so good. She doesn't necessarily have to jump too much. She has such a great reach and such a great position inside, able to get multiple shots on the rim. She's a little frustrated still that she didn't get the call, but definitely getting the position exactly where she wants the basketball.
Logan Johnson onto the floor for the first time now for Texas Tech. Heather Ezel will also make her first substitution, sending in the senior from Lyman, Wyoming, McKinley Dickerson. Dickerson, one of 5 Cowgirls that has played over 100 games in their career in Laramie, along with Fertig, Mellema, Barnes, and Ustowska. Shavers on the drive, turned away by Fertig.
Yeah, Fertig gets talked about so much offensively, but she is a force inside with her length to be able to block shots. Shavers so dynamic in getting to the basket and getting fouled. That time already sees the hand of 4-5.
Maupin inbounds it to Sinogo, the junior transfer, JUCO player from Odessa College, originally hailing from Paris, France. Long way away from home, playing for Texas Tech. And Maupin put her head down, went to the bucket, and drew the foul on Wyoming.
Yeah, Maupin does a good job on that possession. Different than this possession. Fertig able to get a clean block. But what Maupin did so well is got into the body of Fertig. Kind of went opposite foot, little Euro style right foot on the left side, and able to draw contact and get to the foul line. Again, a player who shoots the ball extremely well, has led this Texas Tech team 11 times in scoring this season. And it is a big deal when a scorer can see the free throws go in early in the game. So keep an eye out on Maupin.
Tapped out of bounds, but it will be Wyoming ball. Cowgirls will have their hands full as Texas Tech will press after basically every made basket, or at least we expect them to here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, and something the Texas Tech staff thought was new for Wyoming to have to see. Not many teams in college basketball still press at this time, and those are the things you get is the forced turnovers.
In time. And Wyoming turns it back over to Texas Tech. Lady Raiders had a good run through the Big 12 tournament as Sanogo had it blocked from behind by Barnes and into the hands of Melima.
Yeah, Barnes such a big defensive key. She's a versatile defender, defends inside and on the perimeter. She gets a nice block on that one.
Nice feed down low. Furtick catches and dunks it in. You see the footwork by Allison Furtick, gets position, turns and scores.
Yeah, you said it well. Gets position is one of the best things she does. Deep rooted in the paint where she does not have to dribble. She can just catch, turn, and finish.
Johnson well defended by Dickerson. Kicks to the corner. Jalen Bristow in now for Krista Gerlich and Texas Tech. Lady Raiders wins over Kansas and Utah at the Big 12 tournament before eventually falling to Oklahoma State in the quarterfinals. But this team has won 3 of their last 4 games going into tonight's action as Melima was bodied nearly into her own bench by Sanogo, and Sanogo was whistled.
Well, this is part of the discomfort that Texas Tech wants to establish. Even after a miss, you're so used to a team getting back in transition. They, in turn, picked up full court, denied the point guard. Furtick had to take a couple dribbles. It ended up working out with the foul, but easily could have possibly been another turnover. So, again, something to really keep an eye on is Texas Tech's full court pressure and disruption that they want to do consistently throughout this game.
Coach Heather Ezel takes Allison Furtick out of the game. Furtick played 54 minutes in the Mountain West Championship triple overtime loss to San Diego State. In fact, 4 Cowgirls played 50-plus minutes in that game, Brian. Fortunately, they've had over a week off to recover and get ready for the Women's Basketball Invitational.
Yeah, that's a lot of minutes, and what a heartbreaking game. I mean, you got these seniors that have had some of the winningest basketball ever in Wyoming's history. For them to be able to get right there on the doorstep of the NCAA tournament, just one more possession. Obviously, tip your hat to Coach Hudson, Coach Terry Hudson, and leading her team to get to the NCAA tournament. But what a game that was for the Mountain West Championship. Triple overtime, and as you mentioned, 54 minutes and over 50 minutes for multiple of these Wyoming Cowgirls.
Yeah, the Aztecs will play on Saturday night on the road at LSU. Wyoming in action here tonight, and an early first quarter 5-point lead here on their home floor, the Arena Auditorium, getting a chance to host a game here in the WBIT. Sanogo off the roll, catches from Fritz, but could not finish. And Bailey Maupin hounding Emily Melima. Kati Oululainen into the game for the first time tonight for Wyoming, the sophomore from Helsinki. And a steal by Maupin. Logan Alvar trying to make the save. Logan Johnson through contact finishes out on the run.
Yeah, close call, and that bringing up the court almost got another 10-second. Gets a turnover that leads to transition, something that Texas Tech really wants to get easy baskets by playing off of turnovers.
Melima has it down on the block. Oululainen on the attack. Rims off, but a whistle and a foul on Texas Tech. Just over 4 minutes left for her program, her portion of the program in Lubbock, her first ever visit here to Laramie. Although she did come up last fall to go to the football game.
She said that. She shared that with us, and we asked a little bit about, do they have any special strategy for the elevation? And Coach said, let's try not to talk about it. Let's just play the game and not get in our players' heads too much. She said that they had already had some conversation about them. The invite here to the WBIT, their first appearance in school history.
Yeah, Texas Tech, an at-large bid into the WBIT. Whistle was on the floor against Wyoming. The Cowgirls, the 4 seed in the WBIT. By the way, Wyoming and UNLV, the 2 Mountain West teams that are in this tournament, are in the same bracket. So if both Wyoming and UNLV can win a couple of games, they would get a rematch in the quarterfinals. But Logan Johnson doing her part to get Texas Tech back into this game in a one-possession game. Wyoming needs to get it across. Maddie Simmons onto the floor for the first time and gets it ahead to Kati Oli-Leinen, as already this pressure defense of Texas Tech is giving Wyoming troubles. This Lady Raider defense is strong. Good shot blocking team. They force 19 turnovers a game. They average 9 steals per contest. Top 5 of the Big 12. Simmons, a floater right at the horn. Got it to fall late in the shot clock. The sophomore from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and that's one thing about this Wyoming team, Brian. They are comfortable in late shot clock situations.
Yeah, they really are. You mentioned how good Texas Tech's defense is. Their offense is what's been taken off for them, as you see there. Johnson's been a huge part of that as another player that can lead this team in scoring. Had 14 against Arizona and led them, and had 17 in their last game against Oklahoma State. There you see her drive and get an assist and an almost near 10-second call again. This pressure slowly having its effect on Wyoming. 2 turnovers in that first 4 minutes of play.
Yeah, that bucket for Freelon, her second field goal for Texas Tech. Wyoming playing inside out through Fertig. Simmons' lob is stolen away by Freelon. Maupin, a lob ahead. Freelon goes at Fertig, up and under. Pretty move in the low block.
I mean, Freelon's played awesome. Great defense with the length and athleticism, and then to give the up and under kind of step through wide open layup. This Texas Tech team, Coach said it early, she said it to us. If we keep playing with confidence, with a different belief, as we're already been resilient, now the offensive confidence starting to kick in, we're a different team.
Mellema, some good footwork down in the post. Can't get it to fall. And Mellema knocking into the backside of Bailey Maupin and drawing the whistle.
Maupin, just a veteran savvy move right there. As a former point guard, that used to be one of my favorite things to do. Cut in front of him and just stop on the dime. And here you see, speaking of stop on the dime, a little bit of a maybe dream shake-esque right there. Nice play so far by Freelon. 6 points, 3 of 3 in that 1 steal in just 5 minutes of play.
And a steal by the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, Emily Mellema. Pump fake, waits for the flyby and drops it in.
Dan, that's what competitors do. You want to draw a foul on me? Well, let me show you how I get down. Defensive Player of the Year for a reason. Such length, such timing. She is such a weapon on this team on both sides of the ball. And when she plays well, it's very hard to beat this Wyoming team. 5
early points for Emily Mellema. Good to see. She had a tough shooting title game against San Diego State. She was just 3 of 14 in 53 minutes. Open 3. Jada Wynn connects from the left wing.
Yeah, the 3-point shooting has been huge for Texas Tech in this last stretch as well. They've been shooting the ball very well and efficiently.
Mellema for the answer, wide open off the feed from Peterson.
Hey, why not as March? This is what it's about. Shots going down, 3-point shooting at a premium, and trading basket for basket. This is a high-scoring first quarter so far for a tempo that Wyoming normally likes to play pretty slow.
Maupin gets the handoff, whips to the corner, Win, another triple, not that time. Ustowska, the rip and run off the rebound and ahead to Mellema. Cowgirls so tough inside their own building here at the AA, and not easy travel from Lubbock, Texas to Laramie, Wyoming. Flight to Dallas, flight to Denver, drive to Cheyenne, drive to Laramie. Long travel day for Texas Tech getting here to beautiful Laramie, Wyoming, Brian.
Yeah, and for some reason, they didn't have hotels in Laramie for this game, so Texas Tech, like you mentioned, driving from Cheyenne, about 30-ish minutes, 40 minutes away. So they have a little extra chip on their shoulder, not being able to be as close as they'd like to be.
Mellema hit the deck hard, but that is the 5th team foul on Texas Tech. So Mellema will go to the line. She is a 69% free throw shooter. Bird Martin into the game for the first time for Texas Tech, as is Adley Blacklock, the Lubbock native, transfer from Oregon State. And Krista Gerlich going deep in the bench here for the final 15 seconds of the quarter.
Yeah, what a player number 2 has developed to be. Has been here her entire career. as most of these seniors have. You don't see that very often now with the transfer portal, and earns her way to being a defensive player of the year. And such a good offensive player and facilitator as well. And she's one of those players of many on this team that does not want to go out in their last home game with a loss.
Tough trip to the line that time, goes 0 for 2. That's Magott down in the post. Banging bodies, getting her own miss, and laying it in. And that brings us to the end of
Colorado was when they were both on the bench, and coach normally leaves one of them in the game, and they were cheering so loud and supporting their team, and it happened to go really well where the whole team developed even more confidence, and those two in the dynamic duo realized we don't have to carry the team as much anymore, but just be significant players in it, and it's been a turning point for this team.
Right now, the lineup is Maupin on the floor with 4 reserves, and one of those reserves, Magott, is called for the travel.
And what a smart sub before the quarter to get Magott in right in time to get that last layup. They went right back to her. Unfortunately, shuffles her feet, but did make the layup. Pressure still getting to Wyoming. Almost a turnover there.
Yeah, knocked out of bounds. It was last touched by Texas Tech, says Nate Acosta. Oulelainen defended by Wynn. Oulelainen over to Peterson, the junior from Denmark. All Mountain West. Tess Barnes, the Australian, lets it fly. Furtick, the offensive rebound, kicks it back outside, and a fresh possession now for the Cowgirls. Dickerson catches down on the block, draws a crowd, got it to Oulelainen, catches and fires in rhythm, but that ball was halfway down, touched almost all the rim, and bounced out.
The one name we haven't mentioned yet on the offensive end for Wyoming is Peterson, one of the best offensive players on this squad. Has not had an impact offensively on this game just yet.
Wynn, pass nearly went awry, but caught by Maupin. Baseline drive, cut off by Oulelainen, but she patiently backs out and shows off the soft touch off 1 foot.
Yeah, Maupin just has one of those games that you can't really predict what's next. She shoots the 3. You saw her get the foul drawn earlier, kind of going off opposite foot. There you see her shooting a little 1 foot runner. She's got an array to her bag of tricks of how she can score, and another turnover forced by Texas Tech.
5th turnover to the game already for Wyoming, and for this Cowgirls backcourt, getting the ball up the floor, it's like navigating rush hour traffic with all the bodies that Texas Tech uses in that full. However, we did learn today, Brian, they do have rideshare programs in Laramie.
They do have that. We were surprised pleasantly by that.
Logan Johnson mistimed the connection with Sonogo, but it was last touched by Wyoming. Texas Tech ball.
Both teams playing pretty evenly, and one team gets separation before the half. This is a 1-point tight ball game. And both wheels of both teams we've been able to see, and another dime inside. Shavers is one of the places in her game she's evolved. Coach told us about, and drops a dime right on point to her big inside.
The playmaking of Shavers on display right there. And we're starting to see this full court press speed up Wyoming. Dickerson, excellent interior pass, but it's swatted back by Sonogo, who Krista Gerlich has said this is the best rim protector that she's had in her time, and love it. Deep in the shot clock, Mellema gotta go. Fires it with the left hand, surprisingly close, given what a tough shot, but the long rebound gets out to Shavers.
I've seen a lot of things, but to shoot it left hand in the shot clock and almost make it. A lot of talent with the ambidextrous.
And a whistle and a moving screen is called on Texas Tech. They turn it back over to Wyoming nearly 3 minutes into this second quarter. Ustowska now back for Wyoming as Heather Ezel continues to try and find a backcourt combination to navigate this pressure from Texas Tech.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to Maya Pete. She is one of the seniors on this team, not playing, dressed out tonight. She said this is the closest team I've ever been a part of off the court. It has a lot to do with our chemistry on the court, and you are seeing them play their best basketball. In that junior class that you mentioned earlier with 8 juniors, they've been here in this program. A lot of them have grown in this program, similar to the senior class for Wyoming, and really this postseason opportunity gives them a chance to build some momentum as they will go into their senior year. And hopefully, Coach Gurley can have that same retention like Wyoming's been able to do.
Possession arrow will keep it here with Wyoming. Peterson catches on the cut. Maupin giving her no space to work with, but a nice turnaround in the paint. She closes it to a 1-point game.
Yeah, former Big 12 player herself, transferred from Kansas State, and has been just an asset since the day she arrived in Laramie.
Sanogo works in the high post. Fertig backs off, defends the paint. Hand off to Maupin. Step back three. Long rebound into the corner. Saved by Blacklock, but directly to Fertig.
Yeah, you saw a lot more pressure that time from Wyoming. A little more denial of the wings. A little more disruption themselves, not making Texas Tech quite as comfortable offensively.
Stolen in the backcourt by Shavers. Mellema chases it down, was able to poke it away, but it's retrieved by Shavers, and she scores in transition.
Yeah, just one of the best things she does. Anticipate, play passing lanes, and be able to get some of those pick twos. Not quite pick six, but pick two for 2 points.
Immediately the double team comes after the lob inside to Fertig. Shavers got a hand on it, out of bounds, but it'll stay right here with Wyoming.
Yeah, both teams really establishing the defensive identity here. Everything highly contested, and if you get an easy look like that, you'll take it all day long. Great baseline out of bounds execution. Peterson, we mentioned her being a little bit quiet. She has back-to-back buckets.
Peterson now 2 of 3 from the field. Sanogo on the catch. The pocket pass from Maupin, but too strong.
Yeah, that pocket pass has been there all night. Couple of missed ones, couple of made, but I would imagine they're going to keep looking at that. And Sanogo showing her length on defense. Another turnover force for the Lady Raiders.
Maupin, the spin, the soft touch off the window, and a 3-point Texas Tech lead.
Don't do it to him, Maupin. The spin cycle in traffic. No one knows how she did it, but another magic magician shot by Miss Maupin.
Peterson left wide open. That's her look. Not that time. Rebound by Bristow and ahead to Shavers. Shavers and Maupin, the two-woman game, they account for 44% of Texas Tech's total scoring. Maupin, well defended by Mellema. Pivots, turns. Sanogo, the offensive rebound and the stick back.
Well, the part about it is Maupin has drawn so much attention. Fertig comes over to get the block and therefore does not have a chance to block out. Easy putback by Texas Tech, and the pressure still wearing at Wyoming.
Biggest lead for the Lady Raiders. Barnes had one right on the doorstep, and it rimmed off. And Texas Tech right now up 5 and playing with a lot of confidence here in this second quarter. They have outscored Wyoming by 6 here in the second frame.
Yeah, they've really controlled it and played their game, played very poised and together. And another pocket pass. They have been executing that as a game plan attack all night long. Another easy layup, and they have the largest lead of the game.
Excellent movement without the basketball by Sanogo. Sarah Sanogo now 3 of 5 from the field, and she has 6 points in this first half.
6-0 run now by Texas Tech. Can Wyoming get the ball inside of Fertig to give her a chance to answer, or go to their second leading scorer? Comes up short.
And Peterson has been creating some good looks. She has just missed the last 2. But right now, Melina Peterson is what's working for this Wyoming offense, Brian.
Well, if you look at the player of the year, it only has 2 points in this game. It's not all about points for her. She has 6 rebounds, but they need her offensive production. We talked about the threes going in early. That's a big part of the attack, but they need Fertig to really have a presence down low.
At 38%, Maupin goes back door, and a perfect feed from Bird Martin. And this second quarter has been all Bailey Maupin here at the AA in Laramie.
She is on a takeover. She must think she's in Texas, but the Texas takeover is going down. Number 20 is stepping her game up. Does not want to go home. She wants to advance to the next round, and she is leading by example.
8-0 run Texas Tech. Maupin 6 points here in this quarter. Wyoming working against a late shot clock. Dickerson steps into the mid-range, too strong. Jada Wynn there to pull down the rebound, and the outlet is to Martin. This is a deep Texas Tech team,
Absolutely.
Brian, which is very useful to have when you're over 7,000 feet above sea level.
Well, you can tell they're playing with a lot of passion and a lot of togetherness. Don't care who gets the credit. Executing the game plan really well and great defense that time by Wyoming. Can it be the spark that gets them to get a basket? They have not scored in almost 4 minutes.
Allison Fertig going to try and ring up the three. Goes glass too strong. Fertig only made 2 3-pointers all season long.
A little bit late for banking hours. Here you see Wyoming playing solid. Can Texas Tech create a shot at the end? And does not.
Mellema pulls down the rebound on the weak side. Long pass ahead. Fertig out on the break. Puts it down, and Wyoming gets a much-needed bucket. Their first score in 4.5 minutes. An offensive foul on Bailey Maupin, extending the arm. And the Cowgirl fans putting a little bit of juice into this Wyoming team just before the half.
I mean, you talk about a shout out to the MVP of the NFL, Josh Allen, the quarterback. He is proud if he gets a chance to see that play right on the dime. And there you see her taking the charge, saying Defensive Player of the Year for a reason. Awesome way to get a spark going into the half.
Olelainen ahead to Peterson. By the way, Josh Allen got that new contract. I'd hope the collective gave him a call. Mellema drive and kick over to Olelainen. But an 11-second difference game in shot clock. Fed inside to Fertig. Turns, left it short. Martin, long strides into the front court. Martin got it back. Corner three, knocks it down. And we go to the half in a 10. They were third this year. Opponents on average shot below 40% per game against the Cowgirls. Right away, Jasmine Shavers rattles in a triple on the first possession of the second half, and a great start for the Lady Raiders.
Yeah, she's one of those you can't ever count out as far as letting her get comfortable. She's such a bucket, leads this team in scoring, and you saw the immediate connection between her and her head coach, looking over with a big smile like, hey, I want you to shoot that shot. She let it fly, knocks it down.
Starters on the floor right now for Wyoming. Ustowska inside to Fertig, and she goes 0 for 2 on her first touch of the second half. So the shooting woes continue for the Mountain West Player of the Year, Allison Fertig, as Texas Tech has really been able to button her up.
Well, we talked a lot about her, but she just needs her teammates to also step up. She's drawing the attention, she's getting the looks, but they also need opportunities to come from Peterson, her second leading scorer, as well, to help with some of the scoring deficit.
Offensive rebound and a second chance bucket for Freelon, and Texas Tech a 5-0 run to start this second half.
Yeah, the activity so far, the motor, as Coach said, how would you describe this team? What would you say is the story of this team? And she said resilience, and that is exactly what they are embodying. To think about a team that at one point lost 9 in a row in Big 12 play, then they won 3 of their last 4 to get here, and they are playing absolutely their best basketball of the year at the right time, and a team that really looks like they're on a mission.
Sonogo stripped that away from Fertig. 11 on the shot clock for Wyoming. Wyoming the 4 seed in this bracket. Inbound to Peterson, and she's quickly fouled. Called the foul on Danae Fritz, the junior transfer from Maryville, Tennessee. First year at Texas Tech, third school in 4 years for Fritz. Last year at Baylor, and then she did 2 years at Iowa State before that.
Yeah, you asked that question too. How do they get back to the game? What do you want to see? This is the kind of assertiveness and aggressiveness you need to see. 18 points a game, almost 19, 55 from the field. This young lady's a player without a doubt, and they need to see her have again that sense of urgency, especially in a game where guard plays.
Both a 90% free throw shooter this year. Melina Peterson had a great Mountain West tournament. 17 points a game, 4 assists in 3 games. She was named to the all-tournament team, along with Allison Fertig. Shavers doubled. Freelon wide open, put it on the floor, went at Fertig, but Fertig able to divert her away from the bucket.
Yeah, Wyoming doesn't play in transition a lot, but that was a opportunity. They slowed it down. They got exactly the shot they wanted. And here you see Peterson starting to heat up, which is much needed for the Cowgirls.
Yeah, Peterson moving without the basketball. She has scored the last 4 points for Wyoming. Johnson attacks off the dribble.
And this is the other part Wyoming can really pick up. We talked about it, 55% that they're giving up in the first half. Need to really clean it up and tighten up to where it's not so easy for Texas Tech. Outstanding hoops. And wants the chance to go to Blacksburg, Virginia to play the Hokies.
That foul was on Barnes. That's her second. But Furtick had her hands up and Peterson just didn't see her under the bucket. Now they get it to her. She turns, dumps it in. Allison Furtick, that's what she does when her game's at its best.
And you don't even have a chance to double it because she's so deep. And really, when she's not thinking about shot blocking, she hasn't actually gotten blocked very much in this game. She's had gritty point-blank looks. And there you see her affecting the game defensively. But if they can keep going to Furtick, the percentage of their offense will significantly go up when she gets some confidence.
Maupin gets past Mellema. Kick to the corner. Shavers left it way short, barely grazed the iron. Peterson comes up with it ahead to Barnes. Wyoming down as many as 15 in this quarter. They've already cut it back to 10. Good crowd tonight here in Laramie. Cowgirls just need to give them something to get excited about. And that time, Peterson was fouled. It was Sanogo going over the back.
Yeah, this crowd is waiting to erupt on every opportunity they can. You've heard multiple when things haven't gone their way. But again, deep position, able to really establish. You can't block it when she's physical. And then on the other end, she protects the paint so well without fouling. I would expect him to go back inside to her and play from there. If she gets doubled or if she can score it again. And that time she does get blocked off of the double team.
Turned away by Sanogo.
I'm of the mindset when it's March, this time of year, and you have a player of the year, you got to keep going to her over and over and over and make the other team have to continually stop her. And whether that's from scoring or her drawing a double team and kicking it out to a teammate.
And Sanogo will go out of the bench as Krista Gerlich will go a little bit smaller right here. Ball was tapped into the backcourt by Bristow. Olelainen attacks, goes down the lane, and it rolls off. Good look with the left hand by Kati Olelainen. The ball just refused to go through the net.
Yeah, they've had a handful of those tonight. If they could just convert 50% of those, they'd probably have another 10 points. But again, the defense from Texas Tech probably has something to do with that.
Shavers a drive and a kick over to Freelon, going across the lane, but left it short.
Would love to see Mellema attacking those transitions. She's so good in space. Sometimes a little too conservative in a game like this.
And Furtick and Freelon really battling down on the post as Wyoming will continue to work it around the perimeter. Mellema off the catch, left it way short. And a strong box out there by Kyla Freelon, the junior from Denver.
Yeah, another part that's really tough. When you're Wyoming and you play late in the shot clock on almost every possession, these 10-point leads feel almost more like 15, 17, 18-point leads.
Bristow off the catch, top of the key, buries the triple.
Yeah, another transfer into this program, just has had some really offensive outburst type games. He really has versatility, can stretch it for three.
Peterson for the answer the other way, too strong and out of bounds. It's Texas Tech ball, and we have a timeout on the floor. As
they're +4, so that's really that 13, 14 points right there has been the difference of the depth and the disruption.
3 ball on the way. That time, no. Freelon with the offensive rebound and a kick back outside to Bailey Maupin. Second chance opportunity now for Texas Tech. Maupin, pretty feed, wraparound pass to Freelon, but she was unable to finish inside Furtick there to bother that shot.
Well, there's definitely a sense you can really see from this Texas Tech team. I did one of their games earlier in the year prior to conference play, and kind of like Coach said, sometimes Maupin and Shavers felt like they had to carry the team and put the team on their back. You can see how unselfish this team is playing, how empowering they're being with their teammates as far as sharing the ball, and it does make you a better defensive team when you feel like you can touch it and you're believing on the offensive end.
Mellema unable to connect with Furtick, throws it away. Freelon with the steal. Turnovers have been an issue for Wyoming. Now up to 7 in the game.
Wyoming's defense held up a little bit. They forced Texas Tech to be 1 of 7 in their last 7 attempts. Doesn't hold true that time. Another pocket pass off the pick and roll, executed to perfection.
Bristow to Freelon on the roll, diving downhill to the bucket. Melima out in transition, down the paint. No, but Fertig gets the offensive rebound, and she was hit on the arm. Allison Fertig will go to the line to shoot 2. One of the all-time greats in Wyoming basketball history, Allison Fertig, out of Douglas High School here in Wyoming. She was 4-time All-State. That time, Texas Tech was able to beat them on that pick and roll. But Fertig won 3 state high school basketball championships, 2-time Wyoming Gatorade Player of the Year, 4-time All-Conference basketball, volleyball, 2-time state champion in shot put in the track and field, throwing the weight around. Not to mention, Brian, a 4.0 GPA and the highest ACT history, 3-time All-Mountain West, including winning the Player of the Year award this season, Allison Fertig.
Yeah, I think those accolades could probably keep going. She's got even more than that. Filled the stat sheet, filled the record books, and she deserves to have her jersey in the rafters. She wants this last win at home. She wants that probably as much as anything. And can her team get on a run here, start playing a little more aggressive, a little more efficient? Their defense has been strong in this quarter. They need some more offensive production.
Yeah, Cowgirls get a stop. Can they take advantage? Open 3 up top. That's Barnes. Doesn't go down. Wyoming now shooting 3 of 11 from three-point land in this game.
Yeah, they haven't scored in the last almost 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. 0 of their last 6, just has not been their night. But this is one of those where, can you force a turnover possibly again? Melima, Defensive Player of the Year, or get a charge. You need something to spark you, because it just hasn't been your night offensively.
Shot clock winding down. Maupin got to go to work. Floater off 1 foot. Followed up her own miss. Got a hand on it, but ripped away by Fertig.
Yeah, this is one of those transitions. You got to push and attack right here, in my opinion. This Texas Tech team has been aggressive, and they've been the aggressor all evening. You have to kind of fight back in that style of play. Even though it's not what you do, you can do it in spots just to show that fight back.
Bristow not giving Barnes an inch of breathing room. Fertig fighting down in the pace. Skip pass over to Melima. Ball fake. Got an open look. Not that time. Another miss for Wyoming. They are 0 for their last 7 from the field.
But the thing is, they're 7 of 10 from the line. They're able to get to the line and shoot it so well there. I think you got to attack the rim a little bit more. Again, look at some of these transition opportunities to just push the pace. And again, post up some of your guards, and maybe not always Fertig, but just find a way to be more physical against this Texas Tech team.
Freelon missed on the doorstep. Wyoming hasn't scored in over 2 minutes. Barnes puts her head down, got doubled, whipped it over to Fertig. Wyoming able to retain possession. Melima a stop and pop. It rims off, and last touched by Allison Fertig, out of bounds.
But that possession was more indicative of what they can do. Multiple paint touches. You saw the ball get inside the arc from the dribble and not just the pass. And you got some really a high percentage shot in the paint. Those are the type of possessions, in my opinion, Wyoming has to have more of, instead of kind of passing it around the perimeter and waiting for a post entry pass.
Texas Tech has cooled off as well here in the second quarter, having scored in nearly 3 minutes. Shavers probing, trying to find space. And the entry pass to Magat is knocked away and stolen. Shavers right up here on Oulelainen, who got it back from Ustauska. 3 Euros, an Australian, and a Wyoming native on the floor right now for Wyoming. Oulelainen from Finland put her head down, got to the rim, and another missed layup. Third quarter drawing to a close. Shavers into the front court. Pulls up right in front of Oulelainen, shoots an air ball, knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Cowgirl basketball with a second and a half on the game clock here in the third.
Yeah, both teams have just gone cold. It's what you want if you're Wyoming, because it gives you an opportunity to get back in it. But this fourth quarter, need to be in a heat up and have it.
Allison Fertig, a memorable career, one of the greatest to ever don the brown and gold.
Yeah, and with this day and age of college basketball, I don't know that you're going to see very many players be able to break some of these records because they don't stay in school at one place long enough. That is a part of Wyoming's tradition, but it is very hard to get a player of that caliber. Obviously, she's homegrown, but she's been here since her freshman year. And there you see the spark starting to come that they need. Just a little bit of scoring. Their defense was good enough last quarter. They need another high-powered offensive quarter, and that is a great way to start it. The transition, give space inside, and gets the hoop and the horn.
Allison Fertig, a 65% free throw shooter, leading scorer, rebounder in the Mountain West, led the Mountain West in field goal percentage this season. On her way to winning the conference's player of a 10-point game. Good start to the fourth as the Wyoming fans trying to breathe some life into the Cowgirls here in the final frame. WBIT first round action. Danae Fritz trying to feed it inside to Sanogo, but she saves it right back to Fertig.
Yeah, their defense has been outstanding. The third quarter, they held them 26% from the field. And there's another three, back-to-back. You get an and one inside, then you get a transition three outside. Your top two leading scorers giving you life right on time in this home crowd.
A 6-0 run in the first minute plus. Good place to start for Wyoming.
Yeah, and you give this crowd something to cheer about. You give them a chance to get energy back. And now you see a little bit of a zone, a 1-3-1. You don't typically see this, but something else again, change up your look. And it doesn't matter. Shavers, so cold-blooded with the response.
Peterson unable to close out in time, and Shavers hits the three, just her third made field goal in the basketball game. Jasmine Shavers now up to 9 points, leading scorer for this Lady Raider team at 15 points per game.
Yeah, just a big-time response. You know, all about runs is college basketball, and when you can respond to a run, really makes a difference because Wyoming, had you not made that shot and they come back and make one, this could be a different ball game. But still a lot of time for Wyoming to climb their way back and cut this 10-point lead.
That last foul was called on Bristow. That's 2 on Jalen Bristow. Peterson catches just behind the elbow. Melamo got to go to work, lobs down low. Fertig got to get it up quickly, and she got fouled by Sanogo at the very end of the shot clock. So a good job by Wyoming to feed it into the post with the shot clock winding down to get Fertig back to the strike.
Yeah, that's not exactly how Coach Ezell wanted this possession to go. However, she loves the end result. When you have 45, one of the greatest to ever play this game in this building at the line is exactly what you want. And I mentioned this in the third quarter. You want to score when the clock is stopped. Unfortunately, that free throw doesn't go, but you also want to get as close to the bonus as you can so that you can earn easy baskets. They're already 2 fouls away from being in the bonus just with 8 minutes to go in the fourth.
That was the third foul on Sanogo, so Coach good up right now for Texas Tech, so they'll be crowding Fertig with as many bodies as they can muster. Shavers, a nice step-through move down inside the paint for 2.
Yeah, just you mentioned it kind of early. This is a part of the maturation of her game is I know I'm going to get shots. I know I can score. First half, let everybody else eat. Second half, I need to be the closer.
Freelon fronting Fertig, deflects it out of bounds. Cowgirl ball. Oli Leinen back for Ustowska. 7:25 to go and an 11-point game. Winner gets Virginia Tech in the second round of the WBIT 32-team tournament. The Women's Basketball Invitational. Melema, dribble drive, and a kick. Barnes now on the attack. Down the lane and the soft touch on the floater.
In another possession where Wyoming offensively has multiple paint touches off of drives. That is when they play their best against this aggressive Texas Tech defense.
Maupin picked up her dribble. Able to whip it back outside. Now Shavers on the attack. Goes right at Peterson. Absorbs the contact and draws the foul.
I mean, you're talking about a player who has made, not attempted, has made over 100 free throws the past 2 years. And here you see the nice soft touch on the floater. Again, paint touch off the bounce. But the physical drive, initiating contact, has over 210 free throws made in the last 2 seasons. That is what a great scorer does. They get to the foul line and they allow themselves to get easy baskets with no defender. And again, I mentioned the maturation of her game. Always has been a scorer, always has had the talent, but this year, learning at the end of the season how to really pick her spots and know that down the end of the stretch of the game, that's when I got to be my most aggressive.
4th best free throw shooter in the Big 12, and Shavers 2 for 2.
Shavers with 7 points in this quarter so far. Wyoming looking to answer. Again, the slower possessions make it tough. Let it fly and gets fouled.
Yeah, foul was called. Foul was called on Kyla Freelon. And the foul is on the floor. So Peterson shot the
I think
three.
They called it on the screen, kind of breaking through the screen, if you will.
Yeah.
So now in the bonus the rest of the way. Big key for Wyoming. Can they play aggressive enough to draw fouls and earn trips to the line like we just saw Shavers do?
What do you want to see Freelon do better on that play to not draw the foul?
Not run straight through the person set the screen. Sometimes it's just that easy. You got to go around. That's the reason why it's a screen.
Olelainen off the bounce. Furtick got a hand on it, and it goes out of bounds. It'll stay here with Wyoming with 20 on the shot clock. Furtick and Peterson, the 2 Cowgirls in double figures, with 12 and 11 points respectively.
Yeah, they've already had a senior night, but you need your seniors right now. Tess Barnes, one of them. So close. So many shots have rimmed out tonight. Got to still fight to the end of this one.
Wyoming has missed 10 threes tonight, made 4. And Bailey Maupin is going to slow things down here with an 11-point lead as we approach the 5-minute mark. A kick out to Danae Fritz. Olelainen skies for the rebound and pushes the tempo, and she'll slow it down now. Wyoming will go back into their motion offense.
This is where the clock is not your friend. You have to, we kind of mentioned it off air. It's hard when Wyoming is down to be able to come back. Great passing interior. Gets the 2 points they need. Now, how can they speed up defensively to force some turnovers and not let Texas Tech take so much time off the clock? And then when you get those opportunities, either off a rebound or a steal, have to look at making a transition play.
Freelon unable to make a clean catch off the feed from Maupin. Johnson backs it out, puts her head down, cut off by Barnes. Back outside, Maupin, open 3. She drills it. And it's back to a 12-point lead now for Texas Tech.
Hey, this is what March basketball is. Big-time players making big shots in moments when they're needed the most, and that is a humongous shot by number 20. She has really been playing so well. Quiet second half, but a huge monster shot there.
Furtick faces Freeland. Got it to Peterson. Nice passing on the interior.
The defense for Wyoming has done some pretty good work. Can they continue it and not let too much time? Minutes will be good basketball to watch.
Maupin works down on the paint. Gets doubled. Furtick comes over to help. Kicks it outside Johnson. Back outside Maupin. Maupin into the paint. Elevates, floats, and drops it in. Bailey Maupin, who was the state champion in the high jump at Groover High School in Texas, and you saw the verticality on display right there.
Well, not only that, she won a national championship for SA Finest and has a potential matchup against our national champion teammate and Carly Wenzel, leading scorer for Virginia Tech. She probably knows she wants that matchup, and right now they're 3 minutes away from that very thing.
Shavers missed on the layup, but a good hustle by Logan Johnson to get a fingertip on it, and it will be Texas Tech ball.
I mean, the WBIT, this is their second season in the growth of women's basketball. We all know how that has gone in the recent years. Everyone watches women's sports, and you see this event is a new event within the NCAA, that they do pay for the travel for the top 32 teams that do not make that 68 with the NCAA tournament.
Shaver split 2 defenders, but hit the deck, and a whistle and a foul is called on Wyoming. Foul was called on Ustowska. Second on Ola Ustowska, the 5th-year senior. Ustowska often matched up with the opponent's best player, and she spent some time on both Shavers and Maupin in this game. Jasmine Shavers at the line, has an NIL deal with Team Mahomes. That's Patrick's NIL initiative with his alma mater at Texas Tech and Adidas.
Yeah, and talking to Coach Gerlich before this game, just after, what do you love about this team? And she talked about the spirit and the energy and the attack mode mentality, and just the fact that this young team younger team in a way, has really bought into the growth process. They've had some hard times in the season, but they've always responded with more fight. And here you see them playing some great ball in Wyoming, trying to hang around. But Texas Tech getting so much credit to how they've ended their season. Didn't know if they were going to have postseason opportunities or not. And they are so grateful to have this opportunity to keep playing and keep building towards where they want to get back to when Coach Gerlich was playing national championships. And when she was an assistant, they were #1 in the country. She's had some big-time years. She's been a part of the best times of Texas Tech basketball, and she wants to bring it back as the leader at the helm.
Furtick pulls down the rebound. Double-double again for Allison Furtick. 16 points, 14 rebounds. Wyoming with their work to do. And these possessions just taking way too much clock and resulting in a turnover for Texas Tech. And Bailey Maupin will jog it up the floor. No urgency whatsoever for Texas Tech. Up 12 inside 2 minutes to go.
Well, Freelon with great activity. She has 10 points herself, and a quiet 10 and 4. Has been so active inside with deflections, steals, blocks, and finished layups. And a total group effort. 3 players in double figures for Texas Tech. We mentioned earlier, 8 of the 12 players that have played in this game have scored. They've had a total contribution from the entire team in this one.
That was the second foul on Mellema. Mellema got a hand on it. Shaver's able to chase down the loose dribble. Kept her pivot foot, missed with the left hand. Ball finally corralled in the corner by Peterson. Wyoming got to go. Crowd urging them on. Mellema cut off by Maupin, and the foul is called on Freelon, going over the back on Allison Furtick. That'll put Wyoming in the bonus with 68 seconds remaining on the game clock, and Furtick will go to the line. She is 4 of 5 tonight at the strike.
Well, again, you're talking about a program that doesn't lose very often at home, and when you get a chance to host in the postseason, it's such a big deal. You see this great crowd here, and again, you just have to salute these seniors for Wyoming. So one of the winningest groups probably to ever play in a Wyoming uniform and doing it together. And here you see one of the best to ever do it as a Cowgirl. Not exactly her night, but what a career the Player of the Year in the Mountain West Conference has had.
Yeah, Dickerson and Ustowska, the 5th-year seniors, Mellema, Barnes, and Furtick, who makes 1 of 2 on that trip. The 4th-year seniors, the post-COVID players on this team.
And they give Allison Furtick a chance to get an ovation. Her last time to play in the AA, the Arena Auditorium. Again, a young lady that should definitely have her number in the rafters. Hate to see it end this way, but doesn't take away from the enormously accomplished career she has had.
Standing ovation from the Wyoming fans as Bailey Maupin puts an... Olelainen and Barnes unable to connect, and we see our West Defensive Player of the Year, another one of these seniors. Her 4th year at Wyoming, her 2nd year as a starter. Outstanding career. Scored in double figures 6 of the last 8 games coming into this WBIT.
And just to be a Defensive Player of the Year as a guard, not something you see a tremendous amount of. And
And you're glad to see recognition from the coaches
player
around the conference.
Defensive player of the year.
To give that, because oftentimes it's very, mentally, how would Wyoming respond? And I think Texas Tech made it really tough on them here tonight. Air ball from Peterson. Magat turns away Fertig. Maupin chases it down, lobs it ahead to Fritz, and she'll slow it down and start to dribble out some clock. And Heather Ezell says, don't foul.
Well, two different stories of these two teams. Wyoming beats UNLV. They have such a tremendous year and one of the tops in the Mountain West. And meanwhile, Texas Tech, really one of the bottom of the Big 12, really bottom three, just struggled to consistently finish games. They were in games, 1 possession, 2 possession, but couldn't quite finish them. And that Colorado game, Coach mentioned, the last conference game they had, double overtime, they find a way to win it. And from that point on, they win the first 2 rounds of the Big 12 tournament, lose in the quarters, and then win here today. And there you see an ovation for Tess Barnes, another senior, another ovation for Fertig, and I would imagine that Melba will be in that same boat, along with Dickerson. The seniors just getting an awesome recognition from this Wyoming faithful.
And a great crowd here tonight at the AA. They knew this was the last chance to see this senior class play at Wyoming, and wonderful support for this women's basketball program here in Laramie, Wyoming. They do excellent attendance, amongst the top in the Mountain West Conference. Great support for Heather Ezell and what she has built here at Wyoming. That great legacy started by Joe Legursky, carried on by Gerald Mattinson, and now Heather Ezell carrying the torch for Wyoming basketball. An all-time great senior class leaves the floor for a final time. And like you talked about right there, Brian, good ovations for Fertig, for Melema, for Dickerson, for Tess Barnes, and Ola Ustowska. An all-time great group of Cowgirls.
Yeah, they'll be very hard to replace here in Laramie, and a first-class program. They will still be at the top shelf, I would believe, in the conference. Just big shoes to fill when those seniors are leaving. And meanwhile, Texas Tech and their big junior class moving on to the next round of